Hello everyone, and welcome to the the final episode of Battle of the Beasts of Round 2. This is battle number 57, I believe, and this is having Lustor, the Acid Dart, versus Tauron, the Pounding Fury. Now, I'm a bit upset about this matchup because both of these beasts I could see easily going into round 3. And, yes, again, Lustor was going last for the round. I've been changing my mind about which one would go through repeatedly. Originally, I was like, okay, Tauron. Then I went to Lustor, then Tauron, then Lustor. It kept changing. So I am fixed on one now. It just depends if I could manipulate the fight to go in that beast's favour. But I don't know. Stats, Tauron is the larger beast because it's a giant ass centaur. And I think it's from hoof to wing, so that's even bigger. If Tauron loses, he'll be joining all the beasts in his series apart from Serpio in the losing bracket. If Lustor loses, he'll be joining all the beasts apart from Noctilla in the losing bracket. And in round 1, Tauron slayed Blood Boar, which I'm very happy about. And Lustor slayed Shamani, I think. Yes, it was. Lustor slaying Shamani. Slayed your partner, come on. Okay. The arena, probably, I'm tempted to say a forest, because Tauron's fight was in the plains, Lustor's was in a swamp, so I'm trying to go in between there and just say a forest. So yeah, their fight would be in a forest, so without any further ado, let's get into it. So it's both beasts, the forest arena and the combat arena, there we are. So both beasts exit from their chambers. They can't see to the other side of the arena. They can't see their opponent either. Tauron gallops into the forest and starts waving and starts slashing some of the trees with his sword so he'll know where he's been. And Lustor just charges in there as fast as he could, using his tongue to whip it around, spraying drops of acid everywhere to not really destroy the trees, but to melt bits of the trees, then he'll know where he's been. Lustor can hear Tauron scalloping, and he goes in that general direction, and he sees just the back of Tauron as Tauron gallops on out of Lustor's sight. Lustor gets the bright idea to wave his tongue around, spraying more acid in the general direction that Tauron went, in hopes that at least a couple drops would go on Tauron to slow him down, which it does, just landing on his back, just singeing some fur. Tauron turns around and sees a hint of green through the greenery of trees, but sees green that stands out. He uses his sword to chop down lots of trees due to how strong he is. That's why he does that, and charges straight towards Lustor. Lustor builds up a bunch of acid in his throat and spews it all out through the pores on his throat, just spraying everywhere. Tauron sees this and quickly dives to the left behind a couple of trees so the trees can take the acid, and Lustor keeps spraying acid in that general direction. Tauron sneaks up behind Lustor and, using his sword, just goes in for a slash on his back. Lustor hears him though and turns around in time to not only scratch Tauron in the face, but also for Tauron to cut off Lustor's arm. Lustor, obviously angered about that, sticks out his tongue and wraps it round Tauron's chest area that has been recently dipped in acid, so it's singeing the fur, going into the flesh. Tauron gets his claws here, right there, and just uses it to slice off Lustor's tongue. He then risks losing those claws by gently, but also very quickly, using the claws to get in between himself and the tongue and just pull it off, dropping it to the floor. Tauron then uses his wings to fly up and then kick Lustor in the face, knocking him down with his hooves. Lustor builds up acid in his throat and spews upwards. It hits Tauron's wings and some of his underside as well, a hoof as well. But so he falls to the ground with his wings out of action. Lustor gets back up and gets ready to just give him a slash and then spew more acid on. When he gets ready to do the slash, Tauron gets back up, uses his sword and just slices at one of his legs. Whilst Tauron's down, he uses his sword and slices one of Lustor's legs to distract him, so Tauron can get back up, and he does a good old donkey kick in Lustor's forehead right there, and just kicks Lustor backwards. As Tauron's really badly injured, he retreats back into the forest to try and recover more from his injuries, so then he'll be more ready to fight Lustor. Lustor, however, ignores the pain in his leg and the fact he's lost an arm and his tongue, and just keeps marching on into the forest to try and find Tauron. He realises that Tauron's using the trees as cover to protect him, so what Lustor does is that he builds up a bunch of acid in his throat, looks upwards and spews it upwards as well, causing it to rain acid all over the arena. Going to the tops of trees, to the sides, just melting it down to where Lustor can see Tauron. And some of the drops of acid has gone on Tauron, singeing more fur of him, and some going into the flesh as well. One probably landing on one of Tauron's horns, which is just melting that down as well. And yeah, that's all I can say really. Tauron sees this and realising he has to end the battle as quick as he can now, because he's running out of time. Same with Lustor, so they're both bleeding out now. They both charge towards each other. Tauron, being the faster one, uses his claws to slash at Lustor's chest, and his sword to stab at Lustor's back. Lustor feels the damage, but also managed to get a slash on Tauron's front leg, causing him to fall over whilst he's slashing at Lustor. Lustor turns around and is getting ready, building up more acid in his throat to spew onto Tauron to melt him down. Tauron fights through the pain, gets back up and gallops away to avoid that acid spurt. And he gallops around behind Lustor again to just stab him psycho style in the head. Lustor hears this and turns back in time to slash Tauron in the face, but also trip him up with his leg as well. Tauron's fallen down again. Lustor has enough of this, digs his claws into Tauron's side, builds up acid inside of him to spew it all over him. Tauron, realising there's only one thing left he can do, just uses his sword and slashes as much as he can on Lustor's chest. The pain is too much for Lustor and he just swallows back down the acid. When Tauron notices this, he uses his sword to go and aim for the throat, but Lustor as quick as he could, pulls his claw out of Tauron's side and stabs it straight into Tauron's arm, causing him to drop the sword. And Lustor, as quick as he can, builds up more acid and spews it over Tauron. covering him completely in acid, melting him down. Tauron, just having so little time, uses his claws, his Wolverine claw thing, and stabs through through Lustor's throat sac as much as he can before he starts gradually melting away and getting weaker and weaker before he eventually dies. Lustor, being very badly injured, just barely survives and outlives Tauron, meaning Lustor's won, Tauron has lost. And Lustor is the final beast to go on to round 3. Tauron is eliminated. Now, I need to be honest. I started this recording saying, Lustor can win. I got into a fight thinking Tauron can win. And I finished it thinking, Lustor can win. So, yeah. Like, when I did Tauron going to slash at his sword at Lustor's chest, causing him to swallow back the acid, I was thinking, okay, Tauron could win then. But then I was like, wait, I want Lustor to win. I couldn't decide, and I decided at pretty much the last second. And with that, Tauron has missed out on the last place to go into round 3. If you think the battle should have gone a different way, please leave in the comments below why you think that. But for that is the end of round 2, and boy am I glad about that. I'll be uploading another video after this one, which will be basically who the final 20 beasts are and how many beasts are left in each season. But until then, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw or heard, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press that notification bell down the corner below, and I'll see you next time.